As long as you have a sutra, don't allow anybody to pass in front of you. And
but if
he refuses,
then but if someone continues to try to pass, then fight with them, for he has a companion,
which is the shaitan.
Is a shaitan.
In another occasion, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was making salah while a goat came in front of him, want to pass. وكان صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يدع شيئا يمر بينه وبين السترة فقد كان يصلي إذا جاءت شاة تسعى بين يديه فسعاها حتى ألصق بطنه بالحائط ومرت من ورائه. That one day the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, while he's making salah, a sheep want to come, was about to come to cross in front of him. So what did the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم do? He walked to the sutra before the sheep come to such a degree that he stuck his stomach to the wall, and he made the sheep pass behind him, not in front of him. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the end of this chapter,
he also used to say, if the person who passed in front of someone praying knew the sin on him, it would be better for him to wait 40 than to pass in front.
So we have to give the respect for and to honor this privacy or this situation of the salah, that a person and not to cross in front of him while he has in a sutra, because the sin that involved in it, and will be better for the person to wait for 40 hours, 40 days, 40 weeks, 40 months, 40 years. This will be much better for him than crossing in front of a person who's making salah, having sutra, and to cross between him and the sutra. It is very important for the person to make salah that he have his intention present. And we said before, the intention in the heart is nothing that you will utter it with your tongue, and this is innovation if you do so. Now we go, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us concerning the intention.
He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, all intentions, all actions are by intention, and every man shall have what he intended.
So the necessity of intention for all deeds have to be presence. But the objection here is saying or forming special words for the intention. This is not known or taught by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At-takbir.
Allah is the greatest.
ثم كان صلى الله عليه وسلم يستفتح الصلاة بقوله الله أكبر. And he command المسيء صلاته بما
the men who prayed badly,
and he said to him
to do likewise as has been mentioned. And he said to him, verily the prayer of a person is not complete until he has made an ablution which has included the necessary parts of the body, and has then said, say Allahu Akbar.
So the Prophet ﷺ made it clear the necessity of uttering Allahu Akbar to enter the salah. And he said also about this, مفتاح الصلاة الطهور وتحريمها التكبير وتحليلها التسليم.
The key to the prayer is purification. It is entered by takbir, Allahu Akbar, and excited by taslim, and exited by taslim.
So when we say the tahrim, because all lawful action before the word Allahu Akbar, all lawful action from talking, eating, drinking, all this lawful action. But when you say Allahu Akbar, now this is the sin of Allahu Akbar, make all the things now forbidden, unlawful, not lawful for you anymore. So this called takbirat al-tahrim, the takbirah which make all these activities forbidden for you until you exit out of the salah with the assalamu alaikum. The mannerism of the Prophet ﷺ, that he used to say it out loud.
Also, he used to raise his voice for the takbir, such that those behind him could hear. But when he fell ill, Abu Bakr radiallahu anh used to raise his voice to convey the takbir of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the people.
So it is very important to understand that the Imam responsible about making those who behind him to listen the takbir. And because a reason like illness, somebody will be behind the Imam to let the rest of the congregation listen. But what we see in some places, although the Imam is not sick, nothing wrong with him, but the Imam say Allahu Akbar, and somebody right away behind him say Allahu Akbar. So there is no necessity for somebody to repeat after the Imam, to say it loud after the Imam, as long as the Imam has the ability to make the followers hear it. And this is another innovation well known, especially in Arabia. The Imam will say Allahu Akbar, and somebody else behind him, he will repeat out loud. So almost as if there is two Imams there. And this is not the Sunnah. وكان يقول إذا قال الإمام الله أكبر فقولوا الله أكبر. So that means the action of the followers comes after the Imam. He said,
when the Imam says Allahu Akbar, then say Allahu Akbar.
When the Imam says Allahu Akbar, then. So that means all your action, and this includes the takbir, it comes after the Imam. So entering the prayer with the takbir, and after this we shows also there is some action with the takbir to be taking place, which is the raising of the hands.
Raising the hands. He would raise his hands sometimes with the takbir, sometimes after the takbir, and sometimes before it.
So we have three different ways that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to raise his hand. Sometimes with the same time while he's saying Allahu Akbar, and sometimes he will raise his hand first, and after this he will utter Allahu Akbar. And sometimes the takbir will go first, and after this he will say Allahu Akbar. So you make it before or after, or they will go together Allahu Akbar. وكان يجعلهما حذو من كبيه.
He would raise them with his fingers apart, not spaced out, not together, and he would put them at the level of his shoulders.
Again, listen carefully. Again,
he would raise them with his fingers apart, not spaced out, not together, and he would put them at the level of his shoulders.
So the mannerism of the Prophet ﷺ, when he raised his hand, he did not have them fully separated, not tied together, and he will raise them to the level of the shoulder. Allahu Akbar. And perhaps sometimes he used to,
although occasionally he would raise them until they were at the level with the tops of his ears.
To the level of the tops of his ear, to the level. He didn't say he touched his ear. And we mentioned this in the segment before, that some of the innovations, that some people, they hold the ears. As some people, they put the thumb behind the ear. But sometimes Rasulullah ﷺ put it in the level. There is a difference between being in the level and touching.